Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Controversial Podcast. In today's episode, we'll be talking about the Madlanga Commission. It's day 3 today, but we're going to focus on day 2, where the Provincial Commissioner, General Lieutenant Ntletla Mkhwanazi, exposed the controversial businessman. I don't know if we should call him businessman. I'm talking about Vusimuzi Ket Matlala. I don't think he's a businessman. This man is a criminal. He's behind bars because he tried to delete his ex-girlfriend allegedly. We've heard so many things about this man. This man is a criminal and we should address him as a criminal because he's behind bars. So I don't think he's a businessman.
This was sitting at 214, where I was indicating that the Mr. Matlala, Ket Matlala, Vusimuzi Ket Matlala, is one fellow that has been enjoying too much privilege from the law enforcement. And the typical example is that one of, or at least few of his vehicles, not talking about the number, but it's a couple of them, 4 or 5, the number will be confirmed through the report. His personal vehicles were registered by the Deputy Chief of Police at Ekurhuleni, that is Major General Mkhwanazi.
I'm still shocked what I heard yesterday about Vusimuzi Ket Matlala. Ekurhuleni municipality is dirty, hey? No wonder there's no service delivery. There's no service delivery or whatsoever because they are busy allegedly colluding with criminals. They're working with criminals allegedly. The Ekurhuleni municipality management has to be dismantled, okay? Like as soon as possible. That management must fall, That management must just collapse. As Advocate Difo would say on the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, he would say that case must just collapse because South Africa is a movie, I'm telling you. What is this? Like Vusimuzi Ket Matlala is enjoying the blue lights in Ekurhuleni. This Deputy General of Ekurhuleni registered Matlala's vehicles under the municipality using funds of Ekurhuleni, and some of the officers there are on his payroll. Instead of having police officers who are doing their duties, no, they are working with criminals. What is this? Now, the general also mentioned Katiso Molefe, TK Molefe, the one who deleted DJ Somebody, the one who was exposed by City Press publication. Apparently, he hijacked a multi-billion rand airport development project. He registered his firm just 2 days after the advert was published. I mean, that project was worth 350 billion rand. Katiso Molefe was actually going to hijack that tender. He was going to hijack that tender if he wasn't arrested. It is also alleged that Katiso Molefe also deleted Mr. Swart, the whistleblower in Vereeniging. We also learned that about 18 cases were withdrawn because they involved Mr. Katiso Molefe and also the other businessman, Vusimuzi Ket Matlala. So these people know each other, okay? So General Ntletla Mkhwanazi also exposed Katiso Molefe, how he had close relationships with officers. I'm talking about officers who are working at the Ekurhuleni municipality. Katiso Molefe and Vusimuzi Ket Matlala were living large before they were even arrested. They were living large all thanks to Ekurhuleni municipality. Ekurhuleni municipality's reputation is now ruined. It's damaged because they are working with criminals. We have learned that Matlala was also living a lavish life in prison, having a cell phone, having an access of a cell phone. Mkhwanazi also stated that after he made those explosive allegations on the 6th of July, General Fanny Masemola spoke to him and made arrangements with the correctional services, and they found Ket Matlala with a phone. So they took that phone. The man was living as if he's outside. He's having a phone in his cell. You can see when he's appearing in court, he's always dressed to impress. When he's appearing in courts, he's always wearing designer clothes, just like Thabo Bester, that murderer. So they are friends with politicians. Mkhwanazi also revealed that Matlala was having a conversation with a certain individual who's also a businessman, when they were talking about the 360 million rand tender, they spoke to the minister Senzo Mchunu to stop the cancellation of that tender. So the tea is very hot. Apparently, Matlala was very excited when he heard that Masemula was going to be arrested in Khumalo. He was celebrating. He was rejoicing. Matlala was very happy because a new commissioner that was going to be appointed was his person. He thought that he was going to hold the states by balls. That's what I'm saying. I wonder who's that person who was going to be a commissioner. General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi also spoke about how Matlala was involved in HR matters. I'm talking about your recruitment and selection. Apparently, a post was advertised for management, and Matlala said that position was given to Sibiya. I'm talking about the suspended Deputy Commissioner Shadrack Sibiya, the one who was suspended by General Fani Masemula. That guy was busy singing, saying I wasn't alone. I'm talking about Sibiya, who's also implicated in the Senzo Mewa murder trial. Apparently, Sibiya tampered with evidence. He was mentioned in that case. The general also exposed two members of parliament, the one from DA and the other one from National Coloured Congress. Before I can actually speak about what Mkhwanazi said about these two individuals, the members of parliament from DA and the one from National Coloured Congress. You know, after Mkhwanazi made those explosive allegations, there were so many politicians who came out and criticized Mkhwanazi. And the National Coloured Congress founder, Mr. Fadiel Adams, was one of them. He said Mkhwanazi is scamming people. I just want to put that audio and listen what he said.
That the National Coloured Congress appears to be the only party that has not fallen for General Mkhwanazi's scam. We must ask the valid questions. Why is a fine young officer like Bongeng Nkosi Dlamini locked up on two case laws that don't exist in the province that is governed, so to speak, by Mkhwanazi? Why is the killer of Sandiso Makaka willing to speak in court but prevented to? He claims that policemen drove him from the scene of the crime. The same province run.
Presentation was slipped under my office door. I had to read it 3 times, maybe 4 times, because it was unbelievable. I decided that there might be a case for criminality here, so I took it to the nearest police station. Now, if General Mkhwanazi feels that you have something like top secret crime in this country, then he must step forward and say so. I certainly do not buy into that narrative. This country is tired of crime. It doesn't matter who's committing it. I don't care if it's a police general. I don't care if it's the president himself. This is where Mkhwanazi and I differ profusely. So, yes, I was in possession of evidence, of information. I took it to the police station, and if this man feels that I should be arrested for it, then let him go and lay the charge. Because South Africans should no longer have to carry the burden, the taxpayers' burden, for other people's scalamigheid. That is what it is. So here I stand today, accused by a 4-star general, a whole police commissioner, of being a possible criminal, if I'm understanding him right, if I'm listening to him right. But Mkhwanazi must make us understand why he's so desperate to have an issue of almost R1 billion worth of fraud of corruption reduced to an HR issue. Is it because he is friends with one of the accused? And furthermore, Mkhwanazi is on about me writing an email to the minister at 20 minutes past 8 in the morning. It might shock him. I start working at 6:30 at Parliament. He can come and check the cameras here. The other thing is that when my docket was allegedly collected here by the provincial office, he has an issue with that as well. Why is the general from KZN so concerned about fraud that happened in Pretoria? It's not even in his jurisdiction.
He knew that he was involved, hence he was busy criticizing and insulting Mkhwanazi. I was a bit surprised about the member of the DA, Danny Kodla. I'm not even surprised at this moment because DA is also corrupt. I was kind of expecting the members of parliament from the African National Congress, because we know anything that has to do with corruption, it's always them who are at the forefront of corruption. We can debate with other parties, but the ANC has mastered that one. Mkhwanazi accused both of them of being sellouts for sharing secret information. The general spoke about how Adams handled the information recklessly. Adams used his position to gain access to intelligence information and said Adams does not serve on that committee, yet he reportedly accessed and recklessly handled this intelligence, including sharing it publicly. He also detailed that Mr. Fediel had opened 3 criminal cases in Cape Town in 2024, followed by similar cases lodged in Gauteng. Adams also sent an email to the police minister Senzo Mchunu complaining about the service. However, Mkhwanazi argued that these complaints lacked substantive criminal elements and instead focused on internal SAPS vetting procedures, a matter Adams should not have had jurisdiction over due to the classified nature of the information involved. The general further pointed out that Adams could not provide any evidence to substantiate these claims and had no official access to detailed financial records of the secret fund, reinforcing concerns over improper access and political interference. And that these are classified matters. Adams' allegations are based on incomplete information and are being assessed through formal criminal investigations. Fediel responded and he was very angry. He was speaking at the Newsroom Africa and said, "Certain documents were slipped under my door." Fediel, we are not kids. Certain documents were slipped under your door by who? You need to explain. He was very angry and said Mkhwanazi is supposed to be working in KwaZulu-Natal. So I don't know why Mr. Fediel is so angry. I don't know whether he's following the proceedings of the Madlanga Commission, because Mkhwanazi explained why he's also working in Gauteng and other parts of the Eastern Cape. Mkhwanazi also mentioned Cole Barnett, the DA member, and said she broke the law, and said Barnett was a long member of parliament and ought to understand the rules of how to behave regarding certain issues, and said what we see here is a person who has legal obligation to keep her mouth shut and go to the joint standing committee and present and ventilate and hold the division account, but she does not use that platform but goes publicly and disclose the information. The DA member also went to SABC News, Newsroom Africa, and to some other publications. She basically dismissed Mkhwanazi's claims as outrageous, defamatory, and entirely baseless, and said she was engaging with her party whether she should appear before the commission to refute Mkhwanazi's claims with evidence. Said, "I don't know whether it's necessary, but I'm taking advice whether I should write to the commission to explain the reality of the claims." And said Mkhwanazi didn't do his homework as he failed to realize that her comments were based on something that was already public knowledge. So yeah, guys, it's interesting how this commission is going. Today, Mkhwanazi will be revealing more information about Brown Mokgotsi, Mchunu's associate. We'll see what's going to happen. So far, I'm happy with the commission, but at the same time, I'm really disappointed. South Africa is just collapsing. SAPS is collapsing. The judiciary, it's so sad. It's so sad to watch. But at least we've got people who are brave, like General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. We'll see what's going to happen. I really hope Cyril Ramaphosa is going to act on these allegations this time around. Mkhwanazi also spoke about Zondo Commission. He said he wanted to testify there, and Zondo didn't call him. So you can see that Zondo was only focusing on Jacob Zuma and also the Guptas. He didn't care about anybody. His focus was mainly on Jacob Zuma and the Guptas. I'm really disappointed in the former Chief Justice Raymond Zondo. Why didn't he invite General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi if he had absolutely nothing to hide, if he really wanted to deal with corruption? What do you think about that? Let me know in the comment section. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about this. Let's be respectful. Let's not be emotional. We can agree, we can disagree. Thank you. Bye.